All right. Welcome once again. It's only our second episode, but once again, we are here with a new guest, our first female guest, and her name is Belinda Serrano. Hopefully I didn't butcher it. I practiced it ahead of time. Just a little practice, not a whole lot. But here you are again with Joshua and my brother Gabriel.
How y'all doing?
And Belinda, you want to tell these fine people how you know us and that
Hi, I'm Belinda. I met them at a gym nearby, a Jitsu, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym. We're all training together, and that's how I met them. I met them, their wives, Patricia and Double Leg.
Right, and double leg. For those of you that don't know, Gabriel's wife just got thrown under the bus. Our coach calls her Double Leg for a double leg takedown.
She has a nickname, a training nickname, Double Leg.
Yeah, she's hard to take down.
There's nothing you can do about it. I got a nickname, Side Control. It's much better than like, hey, fat guy or something, So I never complained about it. I thought, hey, that'd be just fine. But the gym that we're talking about was Renzo Gracie, but it wasn't just jiu-jitsu. It's also Muay Thai kickboxing. Mm-hmm. And also we had MMA classes. Mm-hmm. We've got pictures that I'm going to get to Casey, and when you guys are all watching this, I'm sure she's going to. She's so good at the editing. Here, there, down there, somewhere. There's going to be pictures, and in these pictures there will be Belinda. There will be my wife Patricia. Gabe's wife Jackie will be there, and then some UFC fighters, stuff like that. But that is where we met.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
we're very fortunate to have Belinda as an instructor.
Oh yeah.
She was a very good teacher. She, my wife, and then also Trisha, enjoyed her classes when they had the opportunity to train with her. They were all about, I love so much to be training with her. She's so focused on what we want to learn and what we want to do.
Oh. Yeah, just for the record, we didn't train a whole lot with Belinda. We rolled with the monsters. So, all this Belinda's nice and easygoing teacher and stuff, but for us, no, it was not like that.
No. Very different for us.
No.
She may be a small frame, but she has a big power.
Oh, thank you guys.
And obviously, because I am a big guy, you almost always get thrown against the biggest monsters out there. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's who you're going to roll with.
Right.
Oh, really?
Okay. Right. So, anytime I would be lucky and I'd get some of the guys my size, but a lot of times I get Ricardo, our instructor, and he's giant. And he would just, baby me. Handle me with kid gloves. He was so great, and then we would spar, and it just would go 180 degrees from there.
Right. So Coach Ricardo, it's Ricardo Evangelista, and right now he's teaching out of is it a Gracie gym?
Renzo Gracie. Mm-hmm.
It's Renzo Gracie in Mount Bellevue. We'll get the information somewhere because we definitely. This is not about him, but he actually was coach to Belinda, coach to us. Actually, I'm such a goof. Me and him are more friends than coach-student, but the guy's easy to be friends with. Mm-hmm. And so we will definitely want to promote his gym, and we'll have the contact information up there for him. It's a sports complex out there in Mount Bellevue. Mm-hmm. So we'll get that information to Casey. She'll put it up, and I'll sound stupid for having to say all this because she would just, boom. It'll be there. It's like it's magic. Casey is our magician.
That's right.
She's not just our editor and one of our producers. No, she's a magician.
She's the wizard behind the curtain.
Wizard. Are we gonna? I think you just got your nickname.
The wizard.
The wizard. Maybe it's the short wizard. Instead of like the wizard with the sword, she's like the short wizard.
Okay.
Yeah. Casey's all 5 foot something, okay? So, she's the short wizard. She finally got her nickname.
So
nice.
What do you got going on?
Well, right now I'm doing private lessons. I get hired to go to people's houses and I give them private lessons. Mostly kids right now, but who compete, but adults also, families. I have a family who I go to their house and teach
The whole family.
Yeah, so I go to their house. I bring my mats and I go to their house. It's me and Vicky, my daughter. She's a black belt, of course, under Ricardo Evangelista too, and so we go and we teach jiu-jitsu at their house. So
Okay, guys, if you've never been to like a full-on fight gym, right? Like some people are scared just to go to the fat guy gym where you're gonna lift some weights and run on a treadmill. Like that's embarrassing enough for some people. But when you're going to a fight gym, like you're gonna get your rear end smashed. I mean, the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna be humbled because no matter how good you think you are at something, like the weakest guy there is gonna teach you some respect.
That's right.
Right away. And so, who wants to show up and have someone 50 pounds lighter and 10 years younger just like crush your feelings, along with your esophagus and everything else?
you know what? But I think that's the best. I think that's what brings people in, because in the sport, like somebody who you just met or is a blue belt, or as me being a black belt, somebody as a blue belt can teach me something that I haven't seen before. So it's like the sport, there's so much knowledge that it never gets boring.
I will agree with you, only because you're right. Let's mark that down. But I will agree with you for once you get going and you're into it. But I think the whole home lesson thing is, if I had that opportunity before I jumped in years ago at Elite, if I had that opportunity to like start there, I would have.
You would have?
Like my kid goes to college, but it's all online.
Right.
They didn't have that when I was a kid. I had to actually show up, right? And that's what I'm saying is, when you're going to the gym, that's a scary thing.
Yeah.
When you're going to a regular gym, no one wants to, not be able to do proper push-ups or, lift very much weights, and you're always going to be right next to this guy with incredible abs.
Right.
And I'm trying to keep my man boobs from showing, and so it's just intimidating,
That's one of the reasons why I did want to do it, because I know throughout the years that I've been training, there has been people who would come just for a little bit and leave and not stick with it. They didn't want to stick, not that they didn't want to stick with it, because who doesn't want to learn, right? But because they just didn't like the big gym setting, a lot of people. So for me, just to be able to go to their house and one-on-one and them learn that way and then transition to the bigger gym, then that was one of my goals.
Definitely. Right. Like I said, I wish we had those kind of opportunities, but we're all 40 plus at this table. Okay. So we understand that back in the day, that just wasn't an option. Heck, when I started in Houston to fight MMA, there was only a couple of gyms. Right. Now, like, you have to decide which gym do you want to go to. Back then it was what gym can I go to? And now there's a huge, shout out to Ed Ramos. He's over here on our side of town. On the east side of Houston. We love that guy. And we like all the Henzo gyms. I haven't found one yet I don't like. I got my start at Elite MMA, and man, that place has blown up. They have multiple locations now.
Right.
That's where I started, Elite MMA Baytown.
It's so funny though. A lot of my instructors from the original Henzos that we all met at used to roll with me years ago when I was training MMA at Elite. So it's like it's kind of like we all went to school together back in the day,
right.
And then come together. I wasn't even going to go to the school. I was strictly there because my kid was in Rise MMA, and his jiu-jitsu was lacking. Like, he's so quick to just give up and go and pull guard.
Right.
And kickboxing was good. Everything he was doing was great. But when it came to the jiu-jitsu, he just was super weak on it. And when I found out Henzo was opening a gym, and it wasn't that far away, I was like, shoot, I got the answer for you, kid. He still went to Rise, but we brought him over to Henzo.
Got lucky because you met Ricardo then.
Right.
Yeah.
So
we were there before Ricardo. So we were actually there founders before they opened. Yeah. So but he was so bad at just the jiu-jitsu. We only took him there for the jiu-jitsu, but man, when the guys I used to roll with are the coaches there, and they're putting it in my ear, and I'm like, guys, I'm old, I'm out of shape, I'm way overweight. I'm not even super heavyweight. I'm like sumo weight. You know what I mean? And like when I fought before, I fought super heavyweight and then heavyweight, and I'm not even that. And man, I don't know how it happened, but I got suckered into it because one night my wife says, "Hey, Jackie said she might want to do some kickboxing," and I was like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "Well, encourage that because Jackie needs to learn some kickboxing." Right? And then I pick her up from work, and I've already dropped my kid off at the gym. I pick my wife up from work, and she's talking like I'm gonna join. And I'm like, listen, guys, this has run its course. I don't do this anymore. You know what I mean? I have no interest in getting into this. And so I tell my wife, now, honesty time, it was a terrible thing for me to do. And it completely backfired on me. I put my wife in a bad spot. She's like, well, I wouldn't mind kickboxing. I'm like, oh, no. You're either in all the way or nothing at all.
That's
right? And it's like, you're either going to do the MMA, the jiu-jitsu, and the kickboxing, or you're not doing nothing.
Nope.
Right? And I told her that. This is truth time. I told her that so that she wouldn't want to do it.
But
I told her that so that she would be discouraged and Fat Boy wouldn't have to go back in there. And she was like, okay, great, so let's go sign up. And like, what do? It's like you throw the fleece out there. It's like telling God, hey, I'll do this if you do that, and then God comes through for you or something, you know what I mean? So I can't throw that down there. I threw the gauntlet, and my wife caught it and threw it right back at me. So I did what any respectable man would do. I walked in that gym with my head down, and I signed the paper, and and the rest is history.
And the rest is history. Got you
He
in.
says, hey, your wife just got me signed up for jiu-jitsu. I said, well, how did that happen? I didn't even get signed up for jiu-jitsu. He said, yeah, well, congratulations.
Now you are too.
You just signed up for jiu-jitsu.
And kickboxing and MMA.
And it was a time.
Okay, so I do have a few questions that I had thought of, and I was like, when I get her in there, I'm going to totally forget to ask her these questions. Okay, now I've had injuries while doing combat sports, but then I've had injuries where I've gone and done combat sports while I was already injured. So the first question is, what's the worst injury you had and still... No, see, we're not going to let her lie because we were both wearing knee braces like half the time we were there,
I have a lot of them. I have a torn MCL and a torn ACL as of right now.
Wow.
I have a torn...
Rotator?
Yeah, a rotator.
Wow.
I'm broken, but look at my fingers. One of them's facing the other way. My toes the same way, but it's just something you just do when you train, right? You just train.
So the first day, and which is one of the things that I didn't learn until later, was the whole reason why they start a class off with you rolling around on the floor. So you learn how to roll and you learn how to fall. Well, I thought I already knew that. Growing up, I practiced stunts, and I know what a break fall is. Well, the first roll I did, I injured my shoulder. It actually is still a little out of place. It has been for the last 4 years. Man, I wanted to cry, and I have 30 people around that are about the same look on their face as I do. So all I do is just bite my lips, suck it up, and go through the rest of the 5-minute warm-up that we were doing. And then after that, I break down, and I tell Jackie, I'm like, I need to go to ER. And she's looking at me like, shut up. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. They don't want to hear you right now. And I'm like, okay, suck it up. Just suck it up. We got to do this for another 35, 40 minutes. And then it was training time. And I thought, by the end of that warm-up, I thought I was dead. I was like, I have no more gas. I'm hurt. I am done. I'm out of here. Screw this. I'm not paying no money to get hurt. I'm out. Forget it. And then, of course, I look at Jackie, and she's ready to go. she's caught her second wind. She's ready to do some more running. She wants to get down. She's ready to go.
She's ready, always ready.
Right. So after that, I said, man, this is just one of those things, And then sparring. We went to spar the first time for me, and they say, okay, if you're injured or just tell the person, hey, don't go for this. I haven't injured that. So.
Right. And most people will respect that.
And my thought was,
if your gym doesn't, you're in the wrong gym.
Right. My thought was, these guys are going to kill me. And so they put me with the 15-year-old kid, John. He's very
technical.
Okay.
Very technical,
okay,
yeah.
We're going to pause right
15.
there. We're going to pause right there. All right. Simply because there's no way without a little explanation can we even begin to tell you how good John is. John is one of those guys that at 15, he is competing and winning against full-blown adults. He doesn't even roll with kids his age because there's no competition for him.
Right.
He is that good. He is like Fedor Emelianenko. He's stone cold. There's no expression. You don't know when he's happy. You don't know when he's sad, but you know when he's choking you.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you that when you're talking about rolling with John, you're talking about rolling with a very advanced adult.
Right.
Not a 15-year-old.
Well, technically now he is an adult.
Yeah. I'm friends with his...
He grew up on us.
I'm friends with his dad on Facebook, and so I've been keeping up with it, and watching his little brother, dude.
Oh.
I've been seeing what you're doing on them guitars. Wow. Oh my God.
Yes.
Wow. And I haven't seen progress on the Jeep in a while. Someone needs to send me a video because I was getting pretty good updates. His dad tore apart an old school Jeep, but it's not him doing the work. It's his son doing all the work. What's the younger one's name?
I can't remember what is it.
It was on the tip of my tongue, and then you asked
Lord.
I know you asked. I probably would have said it.
We're gonna feel so bad because we're talking about John's little brother now, and he's like a baby Fedor too.
Yeah.
That kid. You never knew when he was happy or sad, but you knew when he was tapping you.
For some reason, they gave me to him. Let me say that. They gave me to him one time.
Sacrificial lamb.
And basically that's what I felt like. I was thinking, this little kid, I'm going to have to go easy on him, Let me not try to take him down instantly. No, and as soon as we hit the mat, he's on me and he is like wrapping me up. And what just happened? I had no idea. I hit the mat and all of a sudden I'm
never
in a
mind.
bind. And I just lose faculty all of a sudden, and I can't breathe. I'm freaking out. I'm panicking. And I'm like, this is a kid. I'm losing to a kid.
And this is still day one?
This is actually a few weeks later.
Oh, okay.
I haven't actually met his brother day one yet.
Oh, okay.
But John, yes. Back to the story. John actually was about the same.
Yeah, he's always been good.
A few seconds, and I think we're
Quiet,
doing a 1 minute round.
Technical.
Right, and a few seconds he had me tapping. He got me in an arm bar. Then he says, "Okay, do you want to go again? We have time." And I'm like, "No." Let me get my feeling back in my arm first. And then he says, "Well, I'll get on my back and I'll show you how I did that." Okay. And right there, I was like, this kid is so cool. And just like you said, stone cold. You couldn't tell any emotion, any time. And
he's a good kid.
Good to just practice with.
All right. We'll, for those of you that don't practice jiu-jitsu, we call it rolling. And there'll be an alarm that sounds in the gym. Okay? And normally we go for 3 minutes. Like it's a 3-minute round, basically, okay? Right. And if you tap...
That's 5 minutes.
Well, when we were doing MMA,
when you
5,
started...
But it was 3 when we started with jiu-jitsu.
Actually, I had a couple of the first classes were just 1 minute.
Oh, really?
But we were doing like a round robin thing.
Because I didn't go till I think in October.
But that's different when you're trading people off every minute.
Right.
But anyhow, you have this allotted time. And just because you tapped someone or got tapped right away, you just reset and go again. So you can either tap someone 3 or 4 times or be tapped 3 or 4 times yourself during this time. And off camera, where you can't see, my wife back there has just, I'm not a good lip reader, but she just said James. And James, I am so sorry we forgot your name.
Okay.
I am so sorry.
That's
but,
all right, you got.
But I'll tell you what, I didn't forget what I seen online with you in the Jeep and with the guitars.
Making the guitars, yeah.
I'm so impressed. His dad would talk to me like we would sit and talk a lot. And he would talk to me about how, he's building guitars. We're not talking about like going to the mall and buying a guitar or ordering it from a music store. No, I mean out in the shop, chunk of wood, cut it down, get it all made. The kid makes his own guitars.
It's incredible.
Yes. I know his dad was like an incredible. I don't know exactly what he did for work, but I know he used his hands. He built things, and wow, James, I can't build my own guitar, and I'm jealous. However, I would like to have you build me a guitar if you get enough time. I would love to have a guitar by James.
Nice.
All right,
nice.
so let's go to injuries actually while rolling, and I'll get it rolling first and tell you my worst one was at Henzo Gracie, and I lifted my leg to throw a kick. The leg that I stayed planted with, the muscle snapped in my calf. The calf muscle ripped and tore, but I promise you, it felt like somebody threw a lower leg kick from behind me and kicked it. And when I put my other leg down, I realized there was no one around me. I was like, oh no, I'm in trouble. Something has gone. And a guy that we rolled with back then, Perez, he was like, oh dude, he looked at my leg, saw what it did. He's like, I had that happen to me. He's like, I hate to tell you this, but it took like a year for mine to heal. And I was like, oh, ha, ha, ha. No, he was serious. It took a little over a year for it to heal. And so I still trained, but talk about having to be careful. Now you can't lunge with with the takedowns. You
Can't do anything with it.
No, and you got to
Like
baby it.
you actually can't move it.
Yeah,
You can't move it.
So that was my worst one. What's yours?
The first time I competed, actually, it was
The gym out in Katy.
yes, the
Revolution.
Revolution.
They held
Awesome people out there.
They held I wouldn't say a tournament. I guess it was.
It was an intergym tournament.
With the Houston
competed on teams.
BJJ,
Yes.
Henzo Gracie, and Revolution.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so we competed on teams, and even our teammates we all had to, depending on who won, you had to compete against the winner of the round. And my first round had a young guy, and he was a white belt like me, but he had already had a couple of stripes. And so we get started, and almost instantly he sweeps my foot, and my foot folds almost in half, and I sprain my ankle, and I tweak my toes, and my toes are sticking
I remember
up.
that. We're like,
Yes.
oh, he got
And
hurt.
I didn't know what to do, so I just kept going, just finished the round. As soon as the round was over, I went and sat down, and it didn't look bad, it was just red. So I went ahead and competed in the next 2 rounds. But by the time that third round I was feeling it. I was feeling the
Yes,
pain, and it was starting to turn purple and swell. And then I realized I need ER. Like, okay, something is torn, something is snapped. I'm just in the rush of adrenaline. I don't feel it right now, but I'm starting to feel it. Like, so the adrenaline's wearing off. I'm swelling up, and we finished the round. And then after that, I go and I talk to the guy, and I'm like, hey man, that was a good round. And he's like, hey, how's your foot? And I was like, you saw that? And he's like, no, I heard it.
How is it?
He's like, I heard 2 or 3 pops. And I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to make it. I'm going to have to stop by and see an ER or something. He's like, man, I'm sorry. I was like, look, it's competition. I said, this is my first one. He's like, wow, this is your first one? I said, yeah. He's like, well, man, congratulations for finishing the round. He's like, you could have tapped, you could have did this, you could have that. And I'm like, Thanks, man. Appreciate it. You know, thanks for the round. It was an experience.
Yes.
And after that, man, I went straight home. Iced it up. I took the next day off.
Yeah,
from work
we
and wrapped it up.
prefer not to cry in the gym.
That's
we
right.
wait till we're home in the shower where no one can hear us and no one can see us. But once again, for those of you that don't know jiu-jitsu or karate or taekwondo, you have a belt system, okay? And most of them start with white, okay? And they're all different, and they all want to build to the same thing, black. But on your way from one belt to the next, you have a series of small little upgrades that you do, and they're called stripes. And normally you'll have to make 3 stripes before you go on to your next belt. So you can have a white belt.
4 stripes.
4 stripes. Okay, you can have a white belt with no stripes, and then you can have a 4-striped white belt, which is basically a glorified blue belt. You know, and they're not equal.
No.
Even though they're both wearing the same white belt, they're not equal. So if you go watching any movies with martial arts and you see the belt on them, down by the tip, where the ends are, down on the tips, that you're gonna see those. You're gonna see those little stripes on some of them. So that's what that is. And you know what? Kudos to you too, because I remember how bad that was. And I wasn't even competing that day. I was filming. I was watching.
I remember too.
I was enjoying the fact that it wasn't my ankle that just got rolled. You know, and we had Angelo competing.
Yes.
And like so.
His wife now, they're married now. Yeah,
and,
competed.
you know,
Mariah.
This has just come out. You know, he's had a baby for a while now, but we don't really get the chance to see him that often. So congratulations on the baby boy. We follow you on Facebook like a couple of stalkers. You know, if you don't want us watching, quit filming it. You know, and Mariah, oh my God. She was always a spark plug.
Yeah, she was.
But see, we still follow her too, and man,
She's
not
good.
only that, I feel sorry for her dad. That girl is a knockout. She is pretty,
Beautiful.
and she's dangerous.
Man.
So to any future boyfriends that see this Mariah girl and they think that they want to date her, just know that her daddy's a cop. Her brother is super dangerous, and she could probably choke you out. So
And so is she.
that's what I'm saying. She could choke you out, you know. And Priscilla's probably super protective. But all we can say is we met her. She was a little kid. Now she's like a full blown woman. She's pretty. She's smart. She does crazy stuff with her jiu-jitsu. Like a lot of people play it safe. And I watched that girl try stuff.
Yeah.
And there's a difference. You can play it safe and win in these competitions, but you can try stuff too. And it's a little it's a little different, you know.
Yes.
You know, so but I did feel for you when that happened.
Oh, yeah.
And I was watching, and I know you dealt with it for a long time. You didn't have to deal with it as long as my injury.
It was only about 3 or 4 months.
That's still a long time.
That's it.
So now we're talking injury that happened while competing or training.
When
What was your worst?
mine happened at the gym before where I met y'all, and it was me and Vicky were sparring.
Wow.
And that's
no,
how it
your
happened.
daughter!
Look, yeah,
Oh,
and we it wasn't jiu-jitsu sparring, it was stand-up sparring. We were MMA sparring.
Oh,
That's how it happened.
okay.
And it was a takedown, and she reversed it and just went back. I went one way, my knee went the other way, and it was so bad. I've always had injuries, but this one was different, and I knew because I just dropped. And then when I got up, I stood up, and then I felt like my knees were here, and they went this way, and I dropped again.
Oh,
So I was like, something's wrong. Something's wrong.
oh my goodness.
So I tried to stand up again. I couldn't even put no weight on it, and I was being carried. My instructor, my professor at the time, he picked me up, helped me to the car, and I went to the emergency room that
Oh.
night. And I've had injuries before that never felt, but this one I couldn't even stand up.
Wow. If that had happened to me, I would lie. Because, okay, this is one of those times where there's going to be a picture, and Casey's, our short wizard, is going to put a picture on the screen, and it's going to show both of my boys with me, the wife maybe. Like I got one with us with Henzo Gracie himself, right? And they both wanted to take the old man out. I mean, so bad that every time I rolled with these boys, they were teenagers.
Right.
And every time I rolled with them, it was like they were 110% in for the kill. And I'm trying like crazy because they're my medical bills, right? I'm trying like crazy not to hurt these kids. But yet, in the gym, they know, like, they're not going to challenge me at the house. That's just foolish, right? But in the gym, they could talk smack to me.
And they did.
They could throw a punch at me
the
right
mats
in the
is different.
face. They could, when that bell rings and it's ready to go, they don't have any restrictions. So if they want to try the old man out, they can try me out.
That's the time.
And I can remember Coach Ricardo was watching me, and we call him Little Jimmy, but there's nothing little about my son Jimmy. Okay, he's a big kid, and I tapped him 3 times in one of those few minute rounds. And Coach walks over there and he says to him, he goes, "How many times did he tap you?" He says 3 times, and he goes, "Why, Jimmy? Well, why you let that happen?" He says, "That's okay. Each time I learned something else." And Coach smiled and looked at me. And then, as if that wasn't enough for us to be proud of the fact that he said he learned something off each one of those, then he pops off with, "And I'll get the old man before it's over." Right? I'm catching it. You know? So he let me know that day
that he is going to
yes,
come.
I learned something each one of those taps you gave me. But I'm gonna get you. You know, yeah.
Both of my kids are black belts. Both of my kids have been training longer than me. The highest one out of all of us is my son. He has 1 stripe, and then it's me, and then it's Vicky. So that's the ranking. Both of my kids are black belts, so like
What age did
I
they
get beat
start?
up. Huh?
What age did they start?
She started when she was 15, and he started when he was 16.
Okay. Now I've never met him. I've seen pictures, but I know Vicky, and you know what? You're gonna get familiar with this on the podcast. If I got a story, even if it's a short one, if I've got a story about you, I'm gonna tell it. And I want you to picture, I'm 345 pounds. I'm bigger now than I was then, and I'm dying. Okay, we have gone through the entire class. I am dying. When I say dying, I'm looking for a spot to fall out. Okay, but we all have to shake hands and say, you know, like in baseball at the end of the game, even if you lost, you have to say good game and shake everybody's hand. Well, we kind of do that in jiu-jitsu, and you know, there's no hard feelings, and we all go shaking hands, and somehow, some way, I looked right at her and never saw her. Well, that's because I'm blacking out, man. Look, my hand was there. If I didn't reach out and grab your hand, you have to reach and grab mine and shake it, because at that point, I can't catch my breath. I can't see straight. We finally get in the car. We're headed home, and my phone rings, and I have got Belinda on the phone telling me, "Was there something wrong with Vicky? Are you mad at her?" And I was like, "Mad at her? No, she's so sweet. She's like one of the nicest people you'll ever meet." I mean, she did like hurt her mom, put her in the hospital. But, you know, other than that story, I'm telling you, she's super sweet.
She really is sweet.
And I would never do anything to defend her. And I'm like, she's like, "Well, you didn't shake her hand, and you just like, you know, gave her the smug face or whatever, you know, like I purposely ignored her." And I was like, "Oh man, well, look, I'm not used to worrying about people's feelings, all right? But if I like you and your feelings have been hurt accidentally by me, you know, if you're one of those people that I have hurt your feelings and you're damn sure I meant to, then this doesn't apply." But so I instantly called her, and I could tell she was upset, and I had to tell her, "Look, I didn't even see you. You know, I was so wore out, just like David talked about earlier. I'm a big guy, and he was just out of shape, okay? And he's dying during the warm-up. That's not the class.
That's not the class.
That's just the warm-up.
5 minutes.
So by the time Big Boy
That's
here,
right. Warm-ups are
by
just
the time
5 minutes.
Big Boy here is finally done, and we're doing the hand exchanges at the end, I'm looking for a spot on the mat to fall down and lay there for a few minutes. You know, I'm not in a hurry, and so yeah, so like there's my story about Vicky. But I did. I called her right away and I was like, oh my God. You know, I didn't even see her, you know, but in my defense, I was just trying to breathe. I was just trying to live. You know, I'm sure I snubbed more than her, you know, but you know, we did get it straightened out, you know, she was no longer, you know, upset, but you know,
She had her
there's
feelings
my
hurt.
Vicky story.
Yeah, it's just with her. She's been in it since she was 15, and she trained so long, and she trained hard. I mean, we train hard, right? She trains hard. My son trains hard, and
Hard enough to bang your leg up and
yes,
take you to the ER.
she never like with her thing. She was. Because she's a girl, right? And she's a teenage girl. So it's not nobody, just some people didn't take her serious or she just don't know. So that's what she would get her
happens.
feelings hurt. Like, what, he doesn't respect, like, I've been training since I was 15 and he didn't even shake my hand. And that was the kind of thing where me, I'm older and I'm like, I don't care. You know, her, she started since she was a kid, you know, and it's just a teenager anyway. So it's just like, it's a different world for her. And women in general, it's a different world in jiu-jitsu, you know, so.
That's what I wanted to get into once you were done with your story. Is how would you explain to somebody like, you know, somebody who has never done any kind of formal training, and how would you explain to them getting into jiu-jitsu for you was, or at least how easy it could be for somebody like that?
The thing is, the reason why this is how we started. We started because my son and Vincent quit orchestra and Vicky quit choir, and I didn't want them to have nothing. No elective, no nothing.
Says, oh, no music. I'll make you tough.
So I know, right? I never even thought about that, but yeah. So then we're gonna
over here to over here.
So I took him to kickboxing and boxing up in Cyprus, and I would take him 3 times a week over there. I would drive from Baytown over there. Then I heard Elite was going to open up in Baytown, so that's how we started there when it opened up. And I was just sitting there watching them, and I'm thinking, why am I just sitting here? I can be there training too. So that's how I started training.
There.
Yeah, I'm already there. I'm already going to wait for them. So that's how I started. But to me, I never thought about it. Oh, I'm rolling around with men. I'm rolling around with sweaty men. I never thought about it like that. I never did it once go through my mind.
Just put that whole thought in my head. Thank you very much.
But it's amazing. It's weird how some women tell me,
I feel dirty.
oh, why? Oh, how can you stand it? I'm like, I don't think about it. I don't see it that way, because to me, it's like, okay, it's training, right? But it also gives you some kind of awareness, or it makes you have the muscle memory, or I don't know how you say it, with your reaction to an action, right?
Oh yeah.
It gives you that. Right. I'm not worried about somebody my size. I'm worried about somebody bigger than me. I'm worried about getting attacked from a man, you know, or I'm not worried about if a girl's my size. I'm worried about a man who's bigger, and what can I do? How am I going to protect myself? That's why I started training. Right. So when the people started coming in, and I would tell them, you know, that's what you think about. It's just, you don't think about the rest, because reality, they're not going to hurt you. You're training. You're in a gym. You're in a controlled environment.
They're not intentionally going to hurt you.
Sometimes they do.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But for the most part, I've been lucky, because I've had a lot of good professors that really watched out for me, and they really trained me, and they really have patience, and they really didn't go out there just to beat me up or discourage me or anything. Right. They helped me, and they nurtured, okay, this is what I want.
Ricardo's super good at that.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, we'll wrap this into here. Vicky, we thought we were going to get to see her tonight, that she'd be in the B-roll and hang out with us afterwards and all that. But Ricardo is actually he's in Vegas right now. He's helping somebody train that has a fight in the UFC. And so Vicky is actually teaching classes for him. The kids class at Henzo. So that's why we did not get to see Vicky tonight. But Vicky, we wanted to see you. We were hoping to see you. But we understand you had somewhere way cooler to be. Yeah.
In fact, she was bugging earlier. She was like, "Have fun." I'm like, "Okay."
Well, it's.
I sent her a picture of us, of the girls.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
It can seem nerve-wracking, but once it gets going, it's fun.
It's fun.
It's fun. Especially when you find out later that the camera didn't record. you know, and then we have to do it all over again and still feel like it was the first time.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding. That red light right there means we're good. If it goes out, we're in trouble.
All right.
But that's a good that's a good thing, a question to ask, right? Because there's a lot of women who want to train, but it's not for them, or it's not for women. That's why I know I'll keep saying this, and I'm not just saying it to suck it up, but I love your wives, you know, like their drive, they want to come in and train, like they would do it. They would be a little skeptical at first, you know, but they would try it. Some people don't even try it. Exactly. You know, they tried it and they kept coming back and they kept wanting to learn, and that's what makes it good. That's what makes it worth it. That's what makes it fun. That's what makes it like, hey, I can make a difference. Hey, I can inspire somebody, and that's all I want.
Yeah,
you know,
a lot of days Jackie would say, I don't want to go.
But once you get there,
is Belinda gonna be? Let me check Facebook. Let's see who's gonna be there.
I'm going for the social status.
Right, and then you get there, and you know, she loosen up as soon as we get in the door. She sees, she start to get more comfortable. She get her, you know, get ready to get on the mat, and she get on the mat, and you can see that the whole pretentious attitude was just gone. She's just ready.
That's one thing about jiu-jitsu. All you have to do is start.
Get there.
That's it.
You know,
all you have to do is get on the mat.
You gotta show
the
up.
The energy takes care of the rest. You just want to learn. All you got to do is just show up. That's all you got to do. Just one time. That's the hardest part, is just showing up. And once you get there and once you learn, that's the easy part.
Look here, if you guys have some kids that are looking to get into the sport, or some that are in the sport and are looking to get a little more advanced with their training so that they can actually go compete and win, we're going to have the information up so that you can get a hold of Belinda. And I know she's doesn't do a whole bunch of adults, and she just did special case kind of stuff. But listen, if you're a woman that wants to learn some self-defense, or you're a family that would like to get your feet wet before you run and join a gym and commit to all that money, man, give Belinda a call. You know, she can come to you, or you can come to her and see if it's for you.
Right.
You know, because you just don't know till you do it, till you jump in and go. And we've had a lot of fun having you here. I'm so glad you answered your phone. We hadn't talked to her in a while, but when we were putting our podcast together a few weeks ago, we were like, okay, who are we going to have on the show? And I got pictures of the handwritten notes that I texted to my brother here, and I said, you see Belinda's name on there, right?
Yes, I did.
I was like, well, we're gonna get a couple musicians on first, and then we'll bring in Belinda, because I don't want people to think that this is just about martial arts and fighting, and
or just music.
Right. And as this goes on, you know, just naturally with the guests that we have and the stuff we have in common. Okay, already you know Gabe and I, we like music and we're into the music thing. Okay, you also know now that we dig combat sports and that we train. Okay, and you'll find out as time goes on and you look at our Facebook page, you're going to see that we're normally on top of Harley Davidsons because we like Harley Davidson motorcycles. You know, so, but we don't want to be about one thing. We want to be about promoting someone else. No one cares who Joshua is. No one cares who Gabriel is, except maybe our wives. But beyond that, no one cares. We're not famous. We're nobody important. So being able to spotlight people that come over, and you're offering a service, but you're offering a lifestyle change, you know. And before we call this done, my wife said, you've got to talk about it. Belinda has had some medical issues now with her eyes. Now, I don't know the full extent of this, but in a short amount of time, and you know, that's relative, you know, like our short wizard, but in a short amount of time, she is going to go blind. She's losing her sight. She sees really fine now, but she's already to the point to where she no longer drives cars. Okay? So if you think for 1 minute that you can't go out and do something, I want to let you know that she knows she's short on time. She could be going around seeing the world and trying to take in as much as she can before her eyesight is gone.
This is what she loves.
But this is what she loves, and this is what she does. And so anyone that loves something that much and knows they're on a time clock, please respect that. And if you make a meeting time with her, please respect the fact that she's on limited time. And she is willing to give that time to you so that you can learn to enjoy it. You know, and like I said, we're not going to get deep into your medical in there, but we know that's happening. You know, and I know
It's been happening for about 15 years.
Wow.
And it's just martial arts and me training and me doing what I love and sharing it is what kind of keeps pushing me. Of course, my kids do, my family does. But the martial arts is that one push that even when nobody's here and I'm laying down on the bed and I decide I'm going to feel sorry for myself sometimes, you know, because sometimes I do that.
She's going to be one
But
of
then I get up and I'm like, look, you got a bag right there. Go hit the bag.
She's gonna be
You got
like-
a dummy. Go drill. And that's what happens. I get up and I go do it.
she's like one
and
of the
it
kung
works.
fu masters that are blind.
My brother says that. My brother says that all the time. My brother goes now.
I can't help it.
And he talks about how my hair is getting gray. He goes, don't color your hair because it's gonna be all gray, and then your eyebrows gonna get white.
look like a kung fu
And he goes,
master.
I'm gonna get you one of them staffs, and you're gonna be the kung fu master. I'm like, okay. My brother already has it all planned out. He already knows. He's
Kung
already
fu
got.
theater. Oh, loved it as
He's
a
already
kid.
got it.
Awesome.
God,
Awesome.
so it's just it's something I love.
Well, thanks, Belinda, for coming on.
Thank you guys for it. Was nice talking to y'all. Nice seeing y'all guys.
Awesome.
Remembering and just going back and
Well, now,
to that time, you know, like
yeah. Hey,
it's cool.
it
Yeah.
was a great time in life. I have zero interest in going back to the mats and getting beat up by younger people. You know, I'll just live vicariously through the memories. Thanks for coming on, Gabe. Thanks for doing this with me.
Yes.
We want to thank our short wizard. There's no way we could do this without Casey.
She is awesome.
Thank you.
I was
Yeah,
watching
yeah.
her setting up, and I was like, "Wow, that's
Yes, and thanks to Jacob.
That's right.
Jacob.
Our stage crew.
Yeah, Jacob is our learning. We call him an apprentice. He's the short wizard's apprentice at the moment. So
We appreciate him. Thank
everything he does is one less thing she has to do.
That's right.
So we appreciate him coming out, spending his time. And hey guys, I think that's just a wrap. We've got still you've got us. We didn't tell you, but you have to sign our banner.
That's right.
Every
Okay.
guest that comes, we get them to sign our banner.
Nice.
And hopefully, as time goes on, just stay like an inch away from
That's
the
pretty cool.
words. And that way, when we get it full and we go to retire this thing, it's going to be our memorabilia from
Oh, that's
the times
cool.
we were
Okay.
doing the podcast and everybody we met. And so, hey guys, we're out. Thanks for joining us again. We'll be back next weekend with a whole nother video. Who will be here? I don't know because I haven't invited anybody yet. But we're going to be here. Gabe and I will guarantee we will be here. And there'll just be someone else over here.
That's right.
Probably not as pretty as Belinda. Probably not as good at, being a black belt and all that good jazz. But there'll be somebody here.
That's right.
Thanks, guys. See you next time.
Have a good one.
Yep.